We're at the midway point of the year, which blows my mind on how fast this year has been going. But what I'm doing now is my mid-year reset. So this is where I go over where I'm at right now, how far I've come, and what I have left to achieve this year. And so I figured I would document it and kind of give you an insight into what I do, so that if this is something that you want to do for your life, for your business, then you can maybe pull some ideas from this video. If this is the first time that you are seeing my face, then hello, my name is Carys. I am a real estate broker, content creator, and entrepreneur here in South Florida. And if you like content like this, then make sure you subscribe, join the family. But if you want to know how to do a mid-year reset, then just keep on watching. Okay, so my first question that I have for you is, do you remember what your goals were for this year? Be honest, because most people do not remember after like January. So this is what first needs to be done, is you need to look at what the goals you had set for this year, because we're going to be looking at them in a logical, analytical mind and say, where was I aiming to be by the end of the year? Where am I at now? And there may be some adjustments that we need to make. The fact is, it is not too late to turn things around. So if you are doing this and you're looking at the goals you had achieved, maybe they are very audacious, and you've reached this much so far, it is okay. Do not stress, do not worry. It is all right, it is life. And you need to know it is not too late to turn it around and finish this year strong. Now, this video is going to be split into 3 different chapters. We assess, we reset, and we implement. So the first thing we do is a self-assessment. We're trying to figure out where we are right now. So we're going to reflect over the goals that we set. We're going to see how far we are to achieving those certain things. And we're going to rate the current you, where you are right at this moment, halfway into the year. Now, I do have a self-assessment worksheet that you can use for this topic, but this checklist breaks down a lot of different things in order to assess where you are right now. So we basically want to do an analysis. So if you take each of the goals that you set for the year, you want to look at them and think of where you were at the start of the year, where is your goal was set to, and then you want to gauge the current status of where you are. For example, if your goal was to make $100,000 this year, and at the start of the year, you are making 50. So you have to make an additional $50,000 in terms of your income. So you're doubling your income. If you get to June and so far you've only made 20,000, you still have another 80,000 to hit your goal. So that is where you're gauging it. Another example, your goal is to reach 50,000 followers on Instagram. You started the year off with 10,000. Your goal is to get to 50,000 by the end of 2024. And in this midway point of the year, you are at 20,000. You have 30,000 more to get by the end of the year. So basically, you are just analyzing on each goal that you set where your current status is. Now, another thing that you need to do in terms of a mid-year reset is look at what did I do right and what did I do wrong. Now, looking at what you did right is in the sense of what did I achieve? Celebrating wins. You want to give yourself, like, feel good about this part, but you don't want to constantly just tear yourself down. So look at what are some accomplishments that I've made in the first 6 months of the year. Then in the concept of what did I do wrong, it's more in the sense of what did I do that maybe didn't work? What did I do that maybe could have been done better, that could have been focused on more, that maybe didn't work, but I could learn a lesson in that? So look at these 2 different things, and it will help you in order to analyze what things to maybe do more of and what things to maybe take away in these next 6 months. You also want to look at what brought you in the most amount of results, because those are what we want to double or triple down on in the next 6 months. So whether your goal is income, health, fitness, social media, it could be relationships, what made the biggest impact and how can you do more of it in the next 6 months. The last thing we're going to do with the self-assessment piece of it is do a weekly audit on everything that you are doing for a full week in your life. This is going to be broken down. I used to do 15-minute increments, but then I found I was constantly writing on paper. Now I do it every 30 minutes. I would do an audit of my full life every 30 minutes and writing down what I'm doing. I would then look at it and figure out what brought me in the most amount of results, what can I remove, what can I outsource, what can I automate, and how can I adjust my time and my schedule in order to focus on the things that are bringing me in the results, do more of that, and eliminate the things that are not necessarily the best use of my time. The second part in your mid-year reset is resetting your goals. So last week we figured out what our goals were, and we figured out where we are right now in rating each of the goals that we have. Now we need to figure out making adjustments for the next 6 months. Now the great thing is your goals can be flexible. Just because you set them in January doesn't mean they need to still be your goals by December. So if there's certain things that you set a goal for that maybe you were trying to achieve that you're not necessarily anymore, it is okay to remove it from your goal list and replace it maybe with something that you now have as a goal. Now, when you are resetting your goals, you want to make sure that they are SMART goals. Now, you probably heard this from growing up: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So you want to make sure that every single goal that you have is something that can be measured. It's something that is actually realistic for you to achieve in the next 6 months. You've already got your time bound because we're doing it by the end of the year. We want to make sure they're realistic and they're not too audacious that they then, make us not feel like we can achieve them. And they want to make sure that they are very specific. So it's not, I want to lose weight by the end of the year. Like, how much weight do you want to lose? And you want to make sure that alongside your goals that you have set, you also have actionable things to do. So I like to call this goal setting and action planning. So every goal that you set that you want to achieve, you are going to have actions and habits that you need to do in order to reach that goal. But basically, it's looking at your goals and not thinking about just the results. It's thinking about what can I do every single day, every single week in order to reach that goal. So break them down, because even if your goal is up here and it's this golden unicorn that may be really hard to achieve, if you break it down in actionable steps, it makes it a lot easier to look at your every single day routine and take steps towards reaching that one specific goal. Now, the last thing you're going to do in this reset step is looking at that weekly audit that you did in the last step and breaking it all down, making adjustments that you need to, start working on your time management, start getting organized in order to work on your productivity so that you can actually achieve these goals. Because one thing that you will notice in that time audit that you did is that you are spending a lot of time doing things that either don't matter or you're wasting time and getting distracted. So figure out how you can get organized, start building the right habits, start building a routine in order to achieve these goals. Now we are in the implementation step, because at the end of the day, you can learn and study and do all of this stuff, but if you don't go and take action, it does not matter. So the first thing you need to do is accept the fact that if you have not made concrete progress on your goals so far, you need to double down. You do not want to get to the end of this year and think, oh, well, next year will be my year. This year was rough. Every year is rough. It is called life, but you make the best out of it. And so if you have found that these first 6 months have not been the best, then double down in these last 6 months. Next, you might need to adjust your environment in order to support your new habits. So all of these habits that you are going to be implementing to help you achieve these goals in the next 6 months, there may be certain things that need to be tweaked. There may be certain plans you may need to say no to. There may be certain things in your environment that you may need to limit to stop the distractions. There may be boundaries that you need to set to stop getting on social media in the daytime. Building your discipline is something that will completely change your life. I will say it every single day forever. But having the discipline to do what you know you need to do, even when you don't feel like it, will completely change the game for all of this. So figure out how you can adjust certain things in order to take down hurdles from what's holding you back to achieving these goals. Next, you're going to work on accountability. But what I'm talking about here is how to actually hold yourself accountable. So whether you need to set things up in order to make sure that you're following through on the things that you're doing, the last thing that you're going to do in the implementation step is look at your day-to-day life, look at your weekly audit, look at your 6 months so far, and think, how can I make this more fun and how can I begin to romanticize my life? Whether it being a mundane task that you need to do, whether it be cooking, walking your dog, whether it be the hard, deep work business time that you're doing, creating content, no matter what it is, how can you make it more fun, more enjoyable? Think about being in a movie. Think about it being the last time you're ever going to do something. Just make things more fun, and you're more likely going to actually follow through and do them. All right, those are the steps for your mid-year reset. We assess, we reset, and then we implement. You've got this. Finish the year strong. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.